Welcome to This Explainer. Look, if you've been watching your web traffic mysteriously fluctuate lately, or if you're constantly wondering how to actually get your brand recommended by models like ChatGPT and Perplexity, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're diving deep into a massive fundamental shift happening right now in the digital world. We are talking about the evolution from traditional search engine optimization to optimizing for generative AI engines.
Okay, let's just tackle the elephant in the room right off the bat. You hear people screaming SEO is dead from the rooftops pretty much everywhere right now. But is it actually true? Well, yes and no. The old game of trying to trick an algorithm into ranking a static URL on a page of 10 blue links, yeah, you can go ahead and let that rest in peace, but the underlying technical infrastructure, that is literally more important than ever.
Traditional SEO hasn't completely vanished. It's just evolved into the foundational layer for what we're now calling AI Engine Optimization, or AIEO. Your new goal is no longer just to, rank number one. The goal is to become a trusted, synthesized entity that large language models actively choose to retrieve, mention, and explicitly cite when users ask them questions. You aren't just competing for a quick click anymore. You're competing to be the absolute source of truth.
To help you get there, we've put together a really practical, step-by-step playbook for this explainer. We'll cover the search paradigm shift, the new AI content formula, back-end technical foundations, how to build a brand entity, and finally, measuring your AI visibility. Let's get to work.
Step 1. The search paradigm shift. We are moving from index retrieval to generative synthesis.
Let's look at the macro changes happening under the hood right now. We are moving away from traditional SEO, which totally obsessed over exact keyword matching, crawling budgets, and huge backlink volumes just to boost static search rankings. In this new AIEO era, the entire focus shifts to entity authority. You essentially want to structure your information so it's incredibly easy for a machine to extract, earning you explicit citations so you get included right there in a conversational answer.
And here is why this matters, summed up in one absolutely staggering number: 58.5%. According to recent data, 58.5% of US searches are now zero-click. That means more than half the time, users get their answers entirely from the AI right on the search page without ever visiting your website. If you're that number one traditional blue link sitting below that AI answer, your organic click-through rate just fell off a cliff. But here's the massive upside. If your brand is the one cited inside that generative response, user intent is off the charts. Leads generated this way can actually convert at 3 times the rate of traditional search, mostly because the user has basically been pre-sold by the AI itself.
Moving to step 2, the AI content formula. Let's talk about writing for the machine reader.
So how exactly do you get an AI to cite you? Well, we aren't just guessing here. This is backed by a massive empirical study out of Princeton University that analyzed 10,000 diverse user queries. The data clearly shows that adding direct attributed expert quotes to your text boosts your visibility by 41%. Swapping out vague adjectives for hard, cited statistics gives you a 31% lift. Meanwhile, old-school keyword stuffing? Yeah, that actually triggers semantic quality downgrades now, penalizing your visibility by 8%. AI wants facts, for sure, not filler.
So it is officially time to ditch the fluffy marketing hooks. Honestly, AI parsers do not care about today's fast-paced digital world or your passionate team of marketing wizards. Instead, you have to use the answer-first disambiguation formula. State exactly who you are, what you do, and who you do it for in the very first sentence. Keeping these opening summaries strictly to a concise 40 to 60 words gets you cited up to 3.1 times more often by large language models. It's a real game changer.
To make sure AI algorithms can easily chunk and extract your information, you need to follow a really specific anatomy. First, use your H2 headings as direct questions. Next, keep your paragraphs atomic, meaning just one single idea per block, maxing out at 2 to 4 sentences. Use highly specific technical terminology instead of dumbing things down. That actually helps models map you to complex queries. And finally, eliminate vague pronouns. Stop saying we or it. Explicitly state your brand name and location continuously so the AI's knowledge graph doesn't lose the connection.
All right, step 3, technical foundations for AI. This is all about optimizing your back-end infrastructure.
Look, you could write the most beautifully structured, statistic-rich content in the world, but it is completely useless if the AI crawlers can't render your website. The very first hurdle? Your firewall and your robots.txt file.
A lot of IT teams are panicking right now about AI scraping, so they implement blanket blocks on all bots. This is a huge mistake. It accidentally deletes your brand from conversational search entirely. You need a selective access model. It's totally fine to block bulk training crawlers like GPTbot to protect your IP, but you absolutely must explicitly allow search time agents like Perplexity bot and OAI searchbot. Oh, and definitely double-check that your edge firewalls, like Cloudflare, aren't automatically blocking these critical agents without you realizing it.
Next up is how your site actually loads. Get this, roughly 69% of AI crawlers are completely incapable of executing client-side JavaScript. So if your site is built on a framework like React and uses client-side rendering, to most AI bots, your incredibly expensive, beautiful website literally looks like a blank piece of paper, just a totally unstructured div tag with nothing to read. You must rely on server-side rendering so you're delivering clean, fully compiled, semantic HTML5 straight to the bots.
There is also an exciting new standard you should implement immediately, and it's called the lms.txt file. Hosted right at your domain root, you can think of this as a highly optimized VIP map designed specifically for AI inference agents. It is totally zero risk and token efficient. It strips away all the bloated HTML and massive navigation menus, giving models like Claude or Gemini a super clean, hierarchical directory of your core services, your benchmarks, and your technical specs.
Moving on to step 4, building a brand entity. Let's dive into your off-page footprint and local graphs. Moving beyond your own website, AI models infer true authority from consensus across the whole web. If you want to dominate regional and local search, say, for example, you're a marketing agency in Bangalore, your entity data must be mathematically flawless. Your exact name, address, and phone number, they must be completely identical across geospatial graphs like OpenStreetMap, foundational entity nodes like Wikidata, and local directories like your regional chamber of commerce. When a user asks an AI who is the best agency near me, it cross-references all of these trusted databases just to validate your actual physical existence.
And hey, we absolutely cannot ignore social media, specifically Meta AI. Meta actually treats Instagram like a massive structured database, not just a fun visual feed. So your social media team needs to shift away from visual-only posts and start creating text-rich, keyword-aligned assets. Align your account name with your core keywords, write long descriptive captions that actually answer specific client queries, manually add alt text to every single piece of media, and enforce strict, precise local geotags on absolutely everything you post.
Finally, step 5, measuring your AI visibility. Here's your 90-day plan.
So, we've done all this hard work. How do we actually know if it's moving the needle? Because generative AI responses are non-deterministic, meaning you might get a slightly different answer every single time you ask. Running just one test prompt is basically useless. You have to execute a structured, repeatable audit protocol. Every month, take 20 high-intent customer queries. Run them exactly 3 times across ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, and Claude. Then, carefully log if your brand was present, whether the sentiment was positive or neutral, and exactly which URL the AI cited to find you.
You also need to completely shift your mindset away from traditional click tracking. Stop obsessing over organic CTR. Instead, build your dashboards around these 3 AI-centric KPIs: share of model, which is the percentage of prompts where you're actively recommended, citation frequency, tracking those direct links back to your domain, and your sentiment and hallucination index to make sure the AI isn't hallucinating and making up false information about your services. These are definitely not vanity metrics. These are the metrics of long-term compounding success.
To wrap this all up, I want to leave you with a really profound thought to chew on. Generative engines operate entirely on consensus. They're essentially a mirror designed to retrieve and synthesize what the broader web already believes to be true. So I want you to ask yourself, if an AI model evaluated your brand right now, what would the internet tell it to believe about you? Think about that. Get out there and start optimizing your entity for the future of search. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.